Hello, we're back. And you know what this means? Frugal Watch Enthusiast series, entry number 2. Today, we're going to look at the best watches that you can buy right now for 300 or less US dollars, plus minus 10% leeway. I think this price range is extremely interesting. And the reason for that is that it's extremely difficult to navigate. There's so much garbage. So you have to be extra careful when you're making a purchase. This is why today is all about finding value for money. We're going to maximize the value whilst keeping the price low at the same time. You know what I mean. This channel is called Horology, and we're fucking delivering today. So, best watches under 300 US dollars. Stay tuned. My name is SpongeBob and you're watching Horology. One more customer service announcement before we start. I'll try to limit the exposure per brand to like 2 or 3 watches because I could technically just build this watch with like 1 or 2 brands if I really wanted to. For my insanity, I'm not going to do that. I'll limit it to like 2 or 3 watches per brand. Naturally, we have some Quartz watches in this price range, which makes sense. So what we'll do, we will alternate between Quartz watches and automatics. And stay till the end of the video if you would like to see which watches I would actually go for in each category, Quartz and automatic, at this price range. All good? Let's start. Funny enough, my goal for this video is to provide you with watches in this price range that people cannot hate on. And by this point, you should know that my favorite complication is the GMT. So we're starting off strong with the Timex Waterbury Traditional GMT. Let's start with the dimensions. We have 39 millimeters in case size, a slim quartz case with 11.5 millimeters, and a lux lock of 47 millimeters. Everyone will be able to wear this watch pretty much. What is impressive about the dimensions though is that we actually have 100 meters water resistant, which is pretty cool. I'll talk about Timex and the Waterbury sub-brand later on. So for now, I just want to say that this is a very good watch, bang for your buck. You got a GMT function. Yes, it's a quartz movement, but that's great because you have a set it and forget it type of experience, which especially for the GMT hand, if you actually keep tracking a different time zone the whole time, like it's annoying to like set that to. So it's a set it and forget it type of experience, which is great. So that's why I think this watch is actually also a great addition for people who already have a watch collection and you're looking for a beta GMT watch that has 100 meters of water resistance that you don't have to set because it's quartz. Why not go for the Timex Waterbury traditional GMT? So now we go to our first automatic watch. And I would like to start with the Bulova American Clipper, reference number 96C131. The reason why I like this watch is, even though it's quite simple in its design, it does it very well. I think it feels way more expensive than it actually is, and it does look way more expensive than it actually is. I mean, look at the bracelet for instance. It looks like a crocodilian leather bracelet, which is not, but no one's gonna know. Only autistic fucks like me will know. For everyday people, this will appear way more expensive than it is, and also you have value for money in this watch. It's quite well made, it feels very good, and you have a timeless design that you can, that you can always wear. It's really sleek. I think this is perfect for a young professional. This would be a great watch to wear at uni, to wear in your job, where you interact with people, because it's so clean. And yeah, nothing to hate about this watch. I like it. For 250 US dollars, I think this is a very good option. Okay, I think the next watch I'll present will cause some controversy. We're talking about the Swatch Night Flight. Before you press Alt F4, please hear me out. Why do I recommend this watch? You know, I usually go by my stance, which is I won't recommend anything you can't service. So that's the reason why you won't see any Seagulls or Vostok watches on this list, if you have been wondering. For Vostok, it's more that they're just really difficult to buy retail in Switzerland. The Swatch Night Flight, why I like this watch is for people who are looking for a cheap chronograph that will probably last, because yes, it's Swatch, but it's a quartz movement. And I have a fucking quartz watch from the 80s. I know, a sample of one, but it does still work. This obviously looks like an Omega Speedmaster Moon watch. Usually I'd say, fuck them, horrible ripoff. Why the fuck are you doing this? You are bottom tier scum like Steinhardt. But since Swatch owns Omega, it's not a ripoff. Seeing this watch and held in my hands in real life, it does not nearly feel as bad as other Swatch watches. You have a metal case, quite a nice dial. You have a chronograph where the pushes don't feel too jammy, like which I initially suspected. So to whom do I recommend this watch? If you like the Omega Speedmaster Moon watch, but you don't have 5 or 6k laying around right now to spend on a watch, this can be a good alternative. Especially if you're, I don't know, a little bit younger or you're still studying or whatever. yeah, I think it's a cool watch. It's made of metal, so it will be sturdier than most watches. So I think it's a good alternative to the Omega Speedmaster for people who don't have or don't want to spend that much money. So the next watch is one of the best value for money options in any price range. We're talking about the Orient Mako 3. So the case is a little bit bigger, but it's a dive watch and it's actually a legit dive watch. 42mm case size, lux lock 50mm. But what's impressive is the 200m water resistance. So yeah, even though it's not ISO certified, you can still go on legit deep diving with this, which is phenomenal for that price. You have a sapphire crystal, day-date display, and a rotating bezel that you can use so if you actually go diving or time simple sequences. There's not much to say about this watch that hasn't been said already. What I would like to do is break down this watch in one sentence. It's a value for money legit dive watch with a sapphire crystal, 200 m water resistance, a reliable movement that's actually in-house, for $200 or like $250. This is as good as it gets. If you like dive watches and you're on a budget, look no further. I think the Orient Mako 3 is a valid option that you should definitely consider. So no list like this would be complete without a G-Shock. And the one I like the most is the Casio Oak. Unfortunately, the full steel Casio Oak is outside our price range. So the one I would go for instead is the G-Shock GM 2100 series, which is basically a full steel Casio Oak without a steel bracelet. So the watch is quite thick actually. We have a 44mm case size, but still a lug-to-lug below 50mm. Case thickness of 11.8mm is actually okay. Quartz movement, 200m of water resistance, and the key selling point, it's indestructible, shock resistance. You can play football with this, you can throw this against the wall, you can bash it with a baseball bat like a retard. It doesn't matter. It's very difficult to break. You really have to want to break it. The first memory I have of G-Shocks is one of my friends whom I've known since primary school actually had one pretty early. I think he got it when he was like 12 or so. He had a G-Shock and we legit played football with that one so many times, and he still has it and it's still running. That's ridiculous. Over 10 years later. So you have a million different color variants. I like the more classic ones like steel or the gold. You can do pretty much anything with this watch. You can go diving, you can go mountaineering, you can go, I don't know, fight someone. Like, it doesn't matter, it won't break. You can play football when you have this on, or play football with it. It doesn't matter. Maybe the one thing you can't do with it, or it's not meant for, is like a black tie event, for instance. But value for money, you can't beat it. $200, easy, will last you a lifetime. So the next watch is one that was released this year actually, or redone this year to be honest. And that's the Citizen Tsuyosa. Let's talk about the dimensions first. We have a 40mm case size, 47mm lug-to-lug, and a case thickness of 12.5mm. So we have an automatic Miyota movement inside, a date display as well with the Cyclops on it, so that's quite cool. This all for like $330 is amazing. Such a great package. If you held one of these in your hands, you realize that it doesn't feel like a watch in that price range. It feels way more expensive. This is probably the watch with the best finishing in this price range. It's really fucking clean. Even in the video, if you look at the polishing here, like this is extremely fucking clean. Also, I love the dials of the Tsuyosa collection. I would probably go for the green one myself, because I'm looking for a green watch right now. I'm wearing green right now. Background is green. If I had a Citizen Tsuyosa right now, it would be perfect. But there are loads of colors. So you have green, black, navy, the classic dial colors. But then you also have this light blue and yellow dial variants. I think they all look good. Like, it doesn't matter which one you go for, they all look really good. So we have a watch that looks sleek as fuck, great finishing, great dials for like $300. I think maybe I'd even go for this one. Yeah, I was really struggling which automatic watch in my list would be my favorite. Either this one or the one that comes at the end of the video. If you want to find out, stay tuned. So I said we'll talk more about Timex later, and that is now, because if you're looking for a cheap chronograph that actually looks really cool, look no further. The Timex Waterbury Classic Chronograph might be just what you're looking for. Let's talk dimensions first. We have a 40mm case size, 47mm lug-to-lug, thickness of 11.5mm, and 100 meters of water resistance, which is actually really impressive. Quartz movement inside, so yeah, wouldn't be in that price range if it wasn't a quartz movement. You know, considering that this is a chronograph. It's a solid watch, and what I really like about this is actually, as weird as it sounds, the heritage. Yeah, the heritage and the design. I have a weakness for Roman numerals and white dials. So a lot of people don't know about this, but Timex used to be called Waterbury, and Waterbury was founded, I think, like in the 1850s. So it's a very old company. It's older than Breitling, for instance. Waterbury used to make clocks and pocket watches before they became Timex. I think this watch looks really fucking cool. Like the Roman numerals, the chronograph, of course, the case, it looks really fucking cool. And especially since you know the story now that, you know, this is based on Waterbury, a former clock manufacturer, this actually resembles a clock. It's really beautiful in my opinion. Very cool watch, $150 US. I think that's a lot of value for money. That's a lot of watch for your money. Chronograph as well, for you to, like, I don't know, set some laps. And you can actually get this watch in different dial colors. Also a black variant, which looks really cool too. What I recommend though is the white dial version. That's so fucking clean. Yeah, great watch. So making the jump across the Pacific back to Japan with the Orient Bambino V2. So this is the newer version of the classic Orient Bambino that everyone always recommends. I like this one a little bit more, I'll tell you why. First of all, we have a larger case diameter with 14.5mm, but it's still very wearable for pretty much anyone with like a 6.5-inch wrist, because the lug-to-lug distance and the case thickness are still within bounds. We have hack-in and hand winding and a variety of dial colors you could go for, and I think they're all beautiful. Like there's no configuration of this watch that I don't like. Every dial colorway looks really nice. The one I would go for is probably the white dial with blue hands or the cream dial, which is the dial most people associate with the Orient Bambino. So why do I think this is the better version of the Orient Bambino compared to the V1? First of all, yeah, of course you have the bigger case size, but that is not necessarily an advantage. Depends on what you like, right? But I think the case looks better as a whole, like it's sleeker. You have a smaller crown that sits more flush with the case, which I think makes the whole watch sleeker. But the most important change is the movement. So you have a better movement that's more accurate with a higher beat rate. It also has hacking and hand winding now. That's a lot, and if you take all that into consideration, that's a lot of bang for your buck. That's a lot of watch for the money. You can get these for like $150 roundabout. It's a range, depends on where you buy it and when you buy it. But yeah, they usually shift somewhere between $120 and $170. This is one of the best watches you can buy, value for money wise. Just like the Orient Mako, like Orient is really, really fucking good when it comes to maximizing value and minimizing price. So we almost made it. We're down to the last two watches. It's 12 o'clock. Yeah, brings back memories. So as I said, I left the best for last. These two are my favorite watches in this price range and the watches I would go for if I had to pick a quartz watch and an automatic watch in the given price range. Starting off with the quartz watch with the Casio World Timer. You know, I like GMT watches, right? But like, what is even better than a GMT? It's a World Timer. And this is a World Timer for like $90 or even less. You can find these for like $60 if you're lucky. It's ridiculous. It's a solar battery display. It will last you fucking 10 years. The dimensions are wearable. You have a chronograph function, of course, as well. So for $60 you can keep track of all time zones in the world in a watch that actually looks really cool, and you can customize it a lot. There's such a big aftermarket for this watch. This watch, I'll probably buy this watch. Yeah, I'll probably get it. Yeah, I'll get this watch. A lot of people think that it can look huge, 40.5mm case size, but not sure if I said this before, but case size is not nearly as important as lug to lug. So a case size of 14.5mm like we have here doesn't matter because we only have a 45mm lug to lug. So it will be fine. Trust me, you can pull this watch off. Yeah, we have also shock resistance, not as substantial as in the G-Shock, but we still have some shock resistance. So yeah, it's a great beta watch. Great for traveling as well. You can set 5 alarms. Why the fuck ever you do that? Maybe if you're taking medicine or if you really hate yourself and you want to wake up 5 times in the middle of the night. Happened actually to me with this watch. I mean, this one can only set 1 alarm, but yeah, rough times. We actually didn't know where it was, but from somewhere it would sound the alarm. It was really annoying. But yeah, you can turn off the alarm if you're not retarded like me. This one can set 5 alarms. And more importantly, you can look at 31 time zones. So this actually works quite similar to the Lange 1 Zeitzone from A. Lange & Söhne, because you have a pusher that you click to go through all time zones. Very fucking cool. Very fucking cool. Yeah, I think I'll actually get this watch. And maybe you should too. Unless you prefer automatic watches, then you should get the next one. So yeah, my favorite watch in this category. If I could only buy one watch in this price range, I'd go for the Seiko SRPD collection. More specifically, the SRPD 53. Let's go over some specs first. We have a 14.5mm case size, which isn't that big since we have a 46mm lock to lock only. We have a hardlex crystal, so a little bit better than a normal mineral crystal. 41-hour power reserve. We have hack-in and hand winding and a day-date display and a 100-meter water resistance. With a automatic movement, Seiko movement, in-house movement actually, just as everything about this watch is. So this watch was entirely produced by Seiko. Seiko is one of the few 100% vertically integrated watch companies. That means that they make the entire product themselves. So every screw, every little detail here was made by Seiko in-house, which, yeah, is really fucking cool. Why do I like this watch? Why do I like it so much? So first of all, this design is timeless. You know, if you have been around in SKX times, you'll appreciate that, because I think this is the modern version of the SKX. For $325 US, you get a wonderful sports watch that you can use for pretty much anything. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. How far you can dress it up depends on the colorway. You have a multitude of colorways to choose from. So there will be something for everyone pretty much. I encourage you to go on the Seiko website right now and filter by Seiko 5 and go through the SRPD references. There's also a version with a smaller case size. Very solid watch, very cool watch. If a Seiko Prospex is a little bit too expensive for you and you want a just workhorse beta watch for anything that looks cool and does the job and is reliable, go for it. I really like this watch. My favorite watch for $300 US. I highly recommend it. Check it out, especially if you're looking for that first watch to buy. This might be the perfect candidate. So we did it. We talked about my favorite watches in this price range. We had a pretty much equal distribution of quartz watches and automatic watches. So I'm quite happy with myself. If you found a watch that interests you, that you might actually buy, please let me know in the comments and let me know what you think when you get the watch. That is something that I would be very interested in if anyone actually buys one of these watches. If you like these videos, if you like the Frugal Watch Enthusiast series, subscribe to my channel, leave a like and a comment. I really appreciate it. I like doing these videos. I hope if everything works out, I, for the first time ever, actually kept my promise. I'll deliver a video a week. Drop a comment what comes next. But we'll continue in the Frugal Watch Enthusiast series for now. Maybe watch collectible. I can see myself doing that. But yeah, anyways, love you guys. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And yeah, God bless. See you in the next one. I'm out. Goodbye.